these new things y'all done here. I'm sure that you as Unitarians will be respecting the Philadelphia fans as you root for the Patriots. And the Patriot fans as you root for Philadelphia quietly. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. Thank you to Bill Cherry for hosting us, and actually two of my other friends from the Gay Men Support Group that meets here down the hall on Monday nights. I can't tell you what your building does for people who may not make it here on Sundays, but who have to come to Tennessee Valley so they can have a moment of freedom in their lives during the week. And that you all have provided that in your generosity and your kindness in your building that's now 20 years old. And I'm certain, I was thinking Baptist, I was going to tell the board that given that you brought me down and I wore my fancy robe, that we'll raise it by 25%. Amen? Amen. Oh, okay, they said it. It's on tape. But we're not Baptists, we're Unitarian Universalists. But we are enough. Yes, we are enough. And you are enough. No matter what somebody else tried to tell you. Because we have a society that tries to tell us that we're not. Unless you buy this product. Or unless you come to my workshop over the next 4 weekends, and by the way, it's just $450 a session. And I'll make you enough. Or if you have the right job, or the right pedigree, or the right degree, or your parents were born in the right place, then you're enough. We have to counter those messages, and as Unitarian Universalists, that's our job. You're enough right now. Now you can be more, and that's what the pledge drive is about, but we're not going there. But you're enough just as you are. Some of us left home with some really messed up messages about money. And I dare say that there are some members of Tennessee Valley who, when they found out what the service was about this morning, even though Duncan was coming, they couldn't come because of our messed up messages around resources, around if we're enough, and our messed up messages about what it means to bend those resources toward justice or toward the kinds of things that we really believe in as liberal religions. And we have a hard time with it. Now, if I were to give a sermon on scarcity, we like those. But I didn't name my church Scarcity of Love. It's abundant love. I believe in it. I think you do too. Some of what's undergirding our craziness around resources and how we can be fooled into believing that we're not enough is this American mythology around independence, that we are self-made, that we got here on our own, somehow we got out of our mother's bodies without any help, became who we were without any cultural, family, or societal influences, stumbled into the right job because we created it. Really? It's mythology, y'all. And it breeds loneliness, alienation, and some really crazy thinking. I ain't here by myself. Y'all are part of the reason I'm here. Chris Bites is part of the reason I'm standing in this pulpit. Thank you, Chris. Now, he forgot he invited me here, but he let me come anyway. The pledge drive, by the way, is not about the money. It's not. And for you introverts, and I can say you introverts because I'm way on the other end of the spectrum. And I have discovered that it's okay to be at home by myself. Wow. It feels funny, but it's okay. For you introverts, and for the people who were raised in struggling households where you are not supposed to let anybody know that we are not middle class, for those of you who were raised with privilege, who were told it is nobody's business how much money our grandmother left us, please go to the home gathering. Please. It is not about the money. It is about your vision about what you want Tennessee Valley to be for the next 25, 50, 150 years. Yeah, you can clap. I won't get disturbed. The home visits are so that you can have some input into your congregation, the place where you're cared for. I am going to make the activists very mad, so get ready. This is not the NAACP. It is not the Girls Club. It is not Kiwanis. We are not just a social justice organization. We are more than that. Yes, we lead in all those areas of social justice, but this is where you come when you have lost mama. This is where you come when some idiot child, oops. Let me back that up a little bit. Edit that out the tape. When some child who comes from another faith grabs your child on the playground and tells your child that your child is going to hell. The NAACP doesn't handle that. We do. We recognize your relationship before it was legal. We care for you when you're in the hospital. That's what the home visits are about. The reason people say, in all these surveys, all this research about why would you in 2018 join a religious community is for connection. Amen. Now, yeah, they're going to slip you a pledge card. But go and be connected. Go find out what your neighbors think and how much they like that cute black man from Atlanta who came and spoke. And as long as I'm honest about it, who didn't come here for free? Please sign up for those visits and go. And for those of you who have had a harder time financially, who really have a hard time with this whole thing about folks asking for more, go. Because we honor what you have given to this congregation. There's no way Tennessee Valley can pay for everything that happens in this building. There's no way we can pay for all the love and care that happens And those home visits are a chance for you to be with other people who've given a whole lot. That's a lot more than money. By the way, I don't like that song anymore because I didn't realize there was a lyric in there about tell me you can give me diamond rings and I don't want that. But anyway. Let me see, I think I'm on page 20 now. Let me see. We're having to counter those messages and those things that get in the way of us being connected. Because if you haven't learned to love yourself beyond those stupid messages that said you were not enough, it's very hard for you to contemplate all this stuff that Reverend Teague is talking about with community. But I'm begging you to work through it. And if, in fact, those messages came with some abuse, then please get some help. I did. My folks did not realize that the gorgeous baby they had in 92 was going to grow up to be a fabulous gay man. They weren't prepared for that. And on my road, spiritually even, because my father was Reverend Teague and my mother in the Black Baptist tradition was Mrs. Teague. If you need the Williams to explain that to you, they will. She was the first lady of Westminster Baptist Church. And I had to counter some messages that said, not only was I not enough if I didn't change somehow, but that I in fact shouldn't even be doing this. And this is what I was called to do. And even in our tradition, and I could use your help with this one, if you look online and you are interested in becoming a UU minister, and I beg of you to talk to us if you are, it ain't no easy road. Amen. There is nothing in our literature about planting churches. Nothing. But I'm doing what I was called to do. Anyway. And if that's not Unitarian Universalism, nothing is. Wow. I'm going through this way too fast. I got two messages on my way to becoming a minister that I need to share with you. One was dream big. I heard it from 3 different sources in 2 different countries. Abundance won't hurt liberals. We think it will, because the other side is awash in it. We can do a lot more to set folks free with a little more. The other message I got was kind of disturbing because I thought I was pretty cool, but it said, Duncan, don't get in the way of your own ministry. What does that mean? Well, I kept that one in the back of my head because I was too busy dreaming big. Can you imagine I dream big? Don't get in the way of your own ministry. Well, I'll tell you why. We have been looking for space. And looking, and we were called to go to the West End community of Southwest Atlanta, the community just south of I-20, just over the freeway from the Atlanta University Center where all the black colleges were. It's gentrifying, so the price of real estate is going up as this sermon is going along. In a neighborhood that had flipped in the 60s from white to black in moments, the white folks got up and out of there. And black people took it over. And the real estate market went swoosh. In the 90s, you could buy a home in the West End for, I am certain, $25,000 to $30,000, if not less, if you found a fixer-upper. Those same homes this weekend are going for $300,000. And I'm called to start a church in the West End in the middle of gentrification. Well, we're not going to buy yet unless y'all's giveaway the plate is real big. So we had to look for rental space. And the rental market sometimes reflects the real estate market. The person heading up our search team for space said, Duncan, we're going to walk around to some places. And the clouds were rolling in. And the wind was coming in. It sounds biblical, doesn't it? And I said, Michael, and then that message said, Duncan, don't get in the way. I said, okay, Michael, we'll walk. We walked up and down Ralph David Abernathy and knocked on doors. Places we had investigated but had never been to, places we thought about but had never been to, we knocked on the doors. Literally, very nice administrators would come to the door and you'd see the priest or the minister running behind them to not talk to us. In a couple of places, they didn't even open the door. They said, if you'll go on the website and download the rental form. I was at houses of worship. We even went to an architect's office, and luckily Michael knew somebody's wife who had gone to church and all this, you know, your mama's people thing. Michael said, we are going to the Hammond's house. And I'm thinking, oh, God, and it's going to rain on me, and I'm out here walking. And don't get in the way of your own ministry, Duncan. When we arrived at the Hammond house, it was officially closed because they were hanging their 30th year anniversary exhibit. The executive director, a brand new executive director, young woman, opens the door and said, come in out of the wind. Michael had volunteered there. He said, I just want to show him a room in the back, and kept walking. I'm sitting there, you know, firstborn preacher's child trying to apologize, and is it all right if we maybe go to the back and see the room? Before that afternoon was over, we were looking at signing the contract for the cheapest space I'd seen in the West End, in an African-American museum. Now, humanists, hang on. This is when I got the message though. Guess who Mr. Hammonds was? An anesthesiologist, African-American, who lived and bought that house and started his own art collection. And he just happened to be a black gay man. I didn't need any other messages. Are you getting in the way of your own ministry? Are you getting in the way of the ministry of your community? Are you believing that you're enough? I do. You already said you was going to raise it 25%. Amen? If this is a little uncomfortable, I'm okay with it because I'm going on. And y'all said y'all going to give me the offering. Hallelujah. But I'm going to remind you about some people from other traditions. My husband came from a tradition where the men in charge, and it is men, will meet with the head of the household, am I correct? And that's a man, by the way. And he brings his income statement with him, and they determine the tithe for the year. They don't have come and have a reception, meet with the friends, and we'll negotiate with you what you think is, nuh-uh. I was brought up in a tradition where my parents gladly gave a tenth according to their biblical beliefs. Many of us also did. And that was called tithing. But let's be clear about something. The tenth was your tithe, and that was God's, and that was the beginning, not the end. We got it good. We let you decide how much of those fishes and loaves you can do to help feed the 5,000. But we got to know. We got to know how much gas can we afford to go to Freedom Land. We got to know. I'm going to close with the words of Alicia Ford, and I'll close the whole worship service out with it. But I'm going to tell you something. Alicia heads up our ministerial development program. I know that's not her official title, but that's what she does. And she's Afro-Caribbean. And she really helps you stay in the ruts, in the path toward becoming a UU minister. And because I have veered off course, I thought Alicia was going to go, Duncan, we got to talk. Now, this was a private conversation, so don't tell nobody. She pulled me aside and she said, do what you're called to do, Duncan. This morning, I'm going to ask you to sign up for those home visits, get to know your friends and neighbors who are UU. I'm going to ask that you dream big. And I'm going to ask that you get out of the way of your own ministry because you're enough. I don't care what your stepfather said. I don't care what your stepmother said. I don't care about the messed up messages they gave you about money. You're enough and more. And do what you're called to do. Amen. Amen. We're going to sing a hymn, and the number of it is in your program. 349.